Hey guys, this is take 3. I'm trying to do this all in one take because I don't want to edit it later. Let me be honest. I just don't want to edit it later. Because I've been, a little bit absent on YouTube recently because I haven't been in the mood to make videos. Because I've been dealing with some stuff, personal stuff that I'm not going to go too much into detail with. I do want to talk about it in the future. It being some mental health stuff. I'll just tell you now. But I don't really want to talk about it too much right now. But I am in the mood to make a video. I have been for the past 20 minutes as I've been setting up and then taking the past like 5 to 10 minutes trying to record the video and failing. Just because I keep going off on these little tangents like now. The last time you guys saw me, my hair was super long. Which I want to address because literally every time I cut my hair, people freak out because as a child, I'll never cut my hair short, and now look at it. So, now that's out of the way, on to the thing that I want to talk about in this video without a script, with absolutely no planning, just sitting down and talking to the camera, and that's books. Because I'm a massive book nerd, and I just kind of wanted an excuse to shove books in your face and be like, read this! As most book nerds do. Specifically, I kind of want to talk about books that inspired me, like, in the past, or have inspired me recently. You guys have already seen Stephen King's On Writing. That's one of the books that have inspired me, that has inspired me as a writer. Clearly has not improved my grammar. Has. I swear to God, the whole grammar thing is just, do your best, guys. Anyways, you guys have seen On Writing. That's a book that's really important to me, not just because it's a book about writing and about the journey to becoming a writer for one specific writer who's really successful, but because it's important to me on a personal level, because it's a book that my dad was really excited to get me, which is the most interest he's ever shown in me as a writer, because, he's my dad and he's worried about my future career plans and things like that, and he doesn't want me to be a starving artist, which is not a real thing, by the way. Most artists, if they don't have work as an artist, have work on the side as they're trying to, build up their career. Starving artist is just, a really dangerous mindset, and, you can be successful in art. I'm gonna get off of this tangent now. So, where was I? Oh, books. Right, of course, books. So yeah, my dad was really excited to buy this book for me because Stephen King was his favorite author, back when he could still read. Slight tangent, my dad got into an accident when I was young, and he suffered severe brain damage, and so he actually can't read anymore, which bums me out a lot, but he shows a lot of interest in my passion for reading, which is cool. And so he bought this book for me for my it would have been my 18th birthday. My 18th birthday, because I really just wanted to read it and see what Stephen King had to say about things. So that's a little interesting tidbit about why reading in general is so important to me, as well as why that book is so important to me. The other book I want to talk about, the other major reason why I wanted to make this video, is a book that I don't actually have here at college with me. I could show you my bookshelf. I will at the end of this video, because I brought 40 books to college with me. Don't do that. Bring 5 or 6 tops, because you will be getting more books. And they take up a lot of space. Don't be like me, guys. I'm gonna do this again next year, I promise. I'm gonna bring my whole book collection, which is over 100 books, which isn't much. But most of them are stuff that I've kind of just gathered over the years, and it's grown mostly over the past year as I've really dug down into this whole I want my own bookshelf thing. Because, in high school you can just borrow books from the school library and you don't need to buy them, and now I'm an adult and can't do that as easily, so I want to own books. But yeah, I didn't bring this book with me, but I own it, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, which if you follow me on Twitter, you guys know that I love Rainbow Rowell. I tweet at her a lot. I can't help it. She's just such a sweet and genuine person, and you just want to be friends with her. And first of all, I really love that in an author or in a creative person, because having that kind of connection with somebody whose work you admire can really motivate you to try and become a great whatever it is that you want to be as well. So like I want to be a writer, so having writers like John Green and Rainbow Rowell who really connect with their audience is something that's really great for me, because it makes me feel like this is more of an attainable goal. Like I can actually do this too, because people that are like me, who are like super fans of things and nerd out about stuff, they are successful in this field. So it doesn't feel like unattainable the way that some authors can make it feel sometimes. I think that I'm going to go off on another slight tangent. This is how I talk when I don't have a script. This is why I normally script things. This is why I often script things. But I think that often the idea of being a writer or being an author can seem kind of highfalutin, like sophisticated, and sort of not attainable to like normal people. But I think that with the rise of the internet and with fan communities and things like that, we're really seeing that, you know, creative types aren't super, like, eccentric. They're just, like, normal people who wanted to make a thing, and so they did. And I think that's really encouraging. Back to Fangirl. Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, which is not actually exactly what it sounds like. I was expecting something completely different from what I got out of this book. Like, I wasn't expecting this really, like, intense, not intense in, like, the action-packed sense, but, like, intense to me, experiencing the story. A story about mental health, like, a bit about mental health, and a bit about leaving home for the first time to go to college, and I read it just at the right time, just like I did with Paper Towns. So it will hit me differently than it might hit you. Especially since, you know, I've talked about it before, anxiety is something that I struggle with every single day, and so the main character in Fangirl also has anxiety, social anxiety, and so seeing that in a character in a way that I related to more than I've ever in any character in any book was just really, it's a really powerful thing, and I don't really know how else to describe it. You kind of just have to experience that connection with a character on your own, but it's really powerful, I think, and it's really validating in a lot of ways too. So that's why I love that book so much. I'm not going to go too much into detail because I do want to do like a sort of book review on it in the future, so look out for that whenever I actually have the time to script that out and make that. But we're going on 8 minutes here. Oh, 8 minutes. Looking at the timer below my thing. And there's so many books that I could talk about here. I also want to talk about the Series of Unfortunate Events series, a series of unfortunate events, and also the Percy Jackson series. So, Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, and also the Percy Jackson series by Rick, I'm gonna butcher his last name, Riordan. Tell me, guys. Tell me in the comments, how do you pronounce his last name? I've tried so hard over the years. I'm sorry, Uncle Rick. But those two book series were really, really formative in my early years. A Series of Unfortunate Events I read in, like, late elementary, early junior high school. They remain one of my favorite book series of all time. It's always going to be. I love the kind of, like, the snark the narrator has. I don't know if snark's the right word for it, but I really like his tone. I find it, like, really engaging, and it's similar with the Percy Jackson series, where his tone is really engaging, and that's why I'm such a big advocate for, like, hey, don't just use the academic tone and everything, and you guys will hear more about that when I make that video. But yeah, I think the tone in both those series are really engaging. I also think that for Percy Jackson specifically, it was a really important book to me because it came to me in a time where I really needed something like that. I really needed a book that made me feel like, you know, the characters were my friends. I was 12 when I first picked up the book, so I was the same age as the characters, and I've kind of grown up with them, and so obviously there's a lot of sentimentality there. I'm still reading Uncle Rick's work. You've noticed that I'm calling him Uncle Rick. I'm pretty deep into the fandom, as I am with most fandoms that I am in. Percy Jackson is another series that's really, really important to me, though. I have the second Trials of Apollo book, Trials of Apollo, on my shelf over here. I haven't had the chance to read it yet because I've been busy with reading books for school. We're reading, like, The Mill on the Floss right now by George Eliot, who was a woman. By the way, George Eliot is a woman. That was surprising to me, but I think it's really cool. Alright, well, of course, I ran out of space, so I guess I'm gonna have to use the editing program, even though I really didn't want to. I wanted to do this all in one take, but we are coming up on way too long of a video, but, so I'm just gonna finish up with this bit about the Percy Jackson and the A Series of Unfortunate Events. I've already forgotten in the time that it took me to save those files to a separate drive. What was I going to say about them? Oh, right. The reason why these books are so much more, I consider them inspiring, even though I don't consider, like, Junie B. Jones, which was another book series that I really liked as a kid when I was around about 7. The reason why I consider these two series to be inspiring, whereas I don't consider, like, Junie B. Jones to be inspiring, is because these books are really what made me want to be a writer in the first place. I think I really, especially with Percy Jackson, I really connected to the characters in a way that made me realize just how powerful storytelling is, and how much I really wanted to do that for somebody else. I think that in a lot of ways I'm always thinking about how can I make somebody happy, how can I make somebody realize that they're not alone when they're struggling in something, and that's why I make a lot of the decisions that I make. That's why I went to school where I'm going to school currently. That's why I'm studying what I'm studying. Like, I'm really just interested in helping people, and I think that stories help people in a lot of ways that we don't really think about all the time. And I'm not trying to get sappy with you guys in my first video back, but I think that in a lot of ways all the books that I've talked about have been really important to me on that level, with the exception of maybe, like, on writing, even though in some ways I think that connects with me in that way too, even though it's a nonfiction book. Yeah, I think that that's probably the most important part of what makes a book inspiring to me is, does it make me want to spread the feeling that it gives me? Does it make me want to make other people feel that way as well? So, yeah, I think those are the top four most inspiring books, but I've taken up too much of your guys' time already. Super long video. I'm not going to cut anything, though. I'm going to chink this onto the end of the other file, and then I'll see you guys once I finish a script and have the time and the motivation to make another video. So, thanks for sticking around, guys. I'm doing my best. Later.